Hi YouTube, what's up? It's time to build the slat wall. The wall. We're gonna focus the wall. So I've been looking at slat walls for a long time and I love how they look. There's a particular company that started like mass producing panels, but they're pretty expensive. This is the panel that I'm talking about from this company. Video is sponsored by me. And if I could afford them, I would, but I can't. So we're just gonna wing it. And I'm gonna build it because I have experience building things. It's gonna be a process, that's for sure. So if we kind of look at the wall, this wall has seen a lot of wear. So my first step is gonna be taking all the stuff off the wall, mudding up the holes, sanding it down, getting it ready to paint. So here I'm just buying some sand plywood from Home Depot, and you can take it into the back and have the staff cut it down for you, make it a lot easier to manage. I also picked up the paint. This is Bear's Little Black Dress. I got some stuff to fix the drywall, some tie downs, the beam, and a rug. And don't worry, this was not that secure. I ended up putting like 4 more tie downs on it. I don't have a workshop or anything, so I just throw my table saw out on my porch and use the decking to help me. So here I'm just cutting down the plywood to 1.5-inch strips. This is very tedious, and it was cold because we were about to get hit by a snowstorm, so I really wanted to get this done. I kind of made a mistake here because I forgot that I have to cut down the plywood to fit the smaller side of the wall, which I should have done before I cut all these strips. I ended up using almost all the wood I bought here. I think I had like a 1/2-inch strip left over. Here I was trying to cut the bevel on the beam, and this was really hard because it's a 14-foot board and I'm not able to properly support it the way that you should support it to make this cut. So I ended up popping the breaker and then just shoving it through the table saw. Probably not safe, probably not the way you're supposed to do it, but that's all I got, so. Back inside, I just had to clean up the office real quick, get everything out of the way, and ready to start tearing down the shelf. I first put this shelf up, I drilled it directly into the drywall, and there's no studs or anything behind it, so a lot of these screws were spinning freely, which was hard to get out. Now, I suck at drywall. I hate doing drywall and anything drywall related, which is one of the reasons why you could see this seam here from when I tried to fill it last time. But this house is pretty old and the walls are not straight, so it kind of cracked and it's showing pretty bad. So I'm just gonna cover it up and hope it stays hidden. So this outlet is a pain in my butt. It's been like this for like 8 years. It was actually worse when we first moved in. It was just hanging out and all around it was blown away. I tried fixing it before, that didn't really work. So I'm just cutting all this plaster away and I'm gonna try to cut a clean edge for this to at least sit on and patch the rest of it. In hindsight, I feel like I would have been better off buying a small sheet of drywall just to make a bigger patch for this whole thing, but you live and you learn. I'm pretty impatient when it comes to doing projects, so I like to rush through it as much as I can, which usually results in the most mistakes or not the best work. It's just the way that I feel like I have to work. Having ADHD, if I leave a project and don't finish it, there is a really good chance I'm not going to come back to it later. So I figured it's better just to do the job, make the errors that you're going to make, and finish it rather than never finishing it. I only put one coat of paint on for the video, but I actually ended up going over it a second time. This is the part where I remembered that I was supposed to cut the wood before I cut it into strips. So I just lined all the strips up, taped them together, marked a line, and cut them there. I figured the time lapse for putting these slots up would be really satisfying. And then about 4 or 5 slots in, my nail gun started to mess up. So I had to mess around with it a lot just to finish this. It got really frustrating. The camera kind of lies to you here because it's an 11mm fisheye that's de-warped to look flat, but I assure you all the slats are nearly identically the same length. I also just went ahead and covered that outlet. I figured I was going to come back and cut the slat with a rotary saw, but I ended up just taking it off the wall, cutting out the outlet, and then putting it back up, which you'll see on the second one. I have a 1/2 inch space between each slat. I'm just using one of the slats sideways because it's 1/2 inch material to make sure that the spacing is even all the way across the wall. So for all those cut-off pieces that I cut from the slats, I'm using them to make like a wood backsplash type thing here. And I figured this would be better for the shelf because when I drill it back in, it will go into this wood rather than just the drywall. Once again, I have no plans for this project, so I'm just kind of winging it. I figured I would fill out all the way to the edge of the window, but about halfway through, I decided that the waveform pattern looks more interesting. So I went with that instead. I ended up using all the cutoff pieces to make this, and it looks great. I actually come back through and remove some of these pieces to keep the waveform pattern. Here I'm just sanding down the beam. Had my friend Rob come over and help me put the beam up. And my batteries ended up dying for my drill and my driver, so we ended up doing it by hand. And I'm just bolting it into the studs pretty much. It was at this point that something with my camera messed up and it didn't record footage. So I ended up painting the beam and I put LEDs on the top and the bottom bevel. And then I reassembled the shelves and put everything back on that. For one, I didn't script this video at all. I just kind of was like, I'm gonna do this thing, and then I did the thing. So as you can see behind me, there's a slat wall. It has LEDs at the top. That's cool. The LEDs aren't the greatest though, so I probably will replace them at some point. The white and yellow is really bad. I really like my warm light, and the wall does not have good warm light. So I just have it on RGB mode for now. It does have a couple features that are pretty cool, but they're just okay for now. I didn't know if I wanted to stain it or not, so I just threw it up as is. But for now, it's done as is. The wall looks great, I think. Could probably do some things better, but for what it is, I think it looks fantastic. So if you watched the video, thank you for watching it. Please like it if you like it. If not, dislike it. Subscribe, tell your friends, all that. I am trying to grow the channel, and I appreciate you for being here. Thank you for watching. Bye.